Jannik Sinner, excluded from the LAUREUS Awards due to doping. The LAUREUS Awards, known as the Oscars of sports, are one of the most prestigious recognitions in the sports world. This year, the gala will be held in Madrid on April 21st, and Sinner was nominated in the Best Sportsman of the Year category, an achievement that few tennis players have reached in history. However, in an official statement, the Laureus Academy announced that after deliberation and case evaluation, they have decided to withdraw his candidacy. The reason is clear: his recent 3-month sanction imposed by the World Anti-Doping Agency. The Academy's president, Sean Fitzpatrick, explained that they considered mitigating circumstances but determined that the sanction invalidates his nomination. So, how did Jannik Sinner end up in this situation? It all comes down to clostebol, an anabolic steroid banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency due to its effects on athletic performance. This substance aids in muscle mass increase, fat burning, and athletic performance enhancement, making it completely illegal in professional sports. Sinner tested positive in 2 anti-doping controls, leading to his sanction. According to his version, the result was due to possible contamination from a spray used by his physiotherapist to treat a skin wound. Despite the lack of intentional doping, the regulations are clear: any prohibited substance in an athlete's body results in a sanction. As a result, the tennis player accepted the 3-month suspension, missing key tournaments such as the Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, and Madrid Masters 1000 events. The big question is, how will this affect Sinner's career? On one hand, the suspension is not extremely long, allowing him to return just in time for the Rome Masters and Roland Garros, meaning his clay court season is still salvageable. However, missing important tournaments in March and April could affect his competitive rhythm and ATP ranking. On the other hand, the damage to his image could have long-term repercussions. Even though his case does not appear to involve intentional doping, the label of doping positive is difficult to erase from public memory and sponsors' perception. This case once again raises the debate about doping in tennis. Throughout history, we have seen several cases, from players sanctioned for consuming banned substances to controversies over accidental contaminations. Many are now asking, should there be more flexibility in cases like Sinner's, where the substance may have entered unintentionally? Or, on the contrary, should the rules remain unbreakable regardless of circumstances? Tennis is a sport where endurance, strength, and recovery play a fundamental role, so anti-doping controls are becoming increasingly strict. This case could serve as an example for future regulations or rule revisions. Jannik Sinner will be able to compete again on May 4th, when his sanction ends, and his main goal will be to regain the level that placed him among the world's best. However, his exclusion from the 2024 LAUREUS Awards is a severe blow to his international recognition. The big question is, will Sinner be able to restore his image after this? Will it affect him in terms of sponsorships and confidence on the court? Jannik Sinner finds himself in one of the most challenging situations of his career. After testing positive for clostebol, the Italian accepted a 3-month suspension from competition, forcing him to miss crucial tournaments such as Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, and Madrid. However, one of the strictest aspects of his punishment is not just the suspension itself but also the limitations on his training. According to the rules imposed by the World Anti-Doping Agency, until April 13, Sinner cannot train in official federation facilities or share the court with other professional players. This means that while his main rivals, such as Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev, compete in high-level tournaments, Sinner must find ways to train under significantly restrictive conditions. But Sinner has left nothing to chance. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, he has found the perfect solution to circumvent these restrictions and stay in top shape, training at the Monte Carlo Country Club. Despite being in France, this club is entirely private and not affiliated with any federation, allowing him to train without violating the sanction rules. Additionally, it is an ideal location for him since he resides in Monaco for much of the year. However, there is one important detail: during the Monte Carlo Masters 1000, April 6 to 13, Sinner will have to leave the club and find a new training location. The solution he has found is to move to Marbella, where he plans to work with his team before his official return to the circuit. To maintain his elite level, Sinner has the support of 2 key figures on his team: Marco Panici, his fitness coach, who worked for years with Novak Djokovic and knows all the secrets to optimizing performance; Ulises Badio, his physiotherapist, who was also part of Djokovic's team and has been instrumental in recovering injuries for top players. Both are using this time to work on Sinner's strength, endurance, and mobility, with the goal of making his return in Rome explosive and quickly putting him back in contention for titles. According to Panici, this time away from competition could actually benefit Sinner. Having such a long period allows us to focus on aspects we want to improve. Knowing we have time to fine-tune details is a great morale boost for the whole team. In other words, Sinner is not just looking to recover his level but to return even stronger and more prepared. One of Jannik Sinner's biggest challenges upon returning will be Carlos Alcaraz. The Spaniard, who has already proven to be one of the most dangerous players on the circuit, has continued competing and gaining experience over these months. While their head-to-head record has been very close, Alcaraz will have the advantage of arriving with more match rhythm, while Sinner will need to adapt quickly in Rome to face him in the best possible condition. But there is no doubt that Sinner's return will be a guaranteed spectacle. Jannik Sinner has not wasted a single day of his suspension. Far from stepping away from the sport or letting the setback slow him down, the world number one has been engaged in intense and highly confidential training sessions in Monte Carlo. With a meticulously planned strategy and the unwavering support of his elite coaching team, he is focused on maintaining his peak physical condition, refining his technique, and ensuring that his comeback will be as seamless as possible. His return at the Rome Masters is set to be one of the most highly anticipated moments of the tennis season, as fans and analysts eagerly wait to see if he can reclaim his dominant form. The biggest question looming over Sinner's return is whether he will be able to pick up where he left off and continue his dominance over the tour, particularly in his ongoing rivalry with Carlos Alcaraz. The young Spaniard has remained a formidable force in the game, and with the competitive nature of modern tennis, any absence, no matter how brief, can have an impact. Will Sinner's time away from official matches hinder his ability to perform at the highest level? Or will his disciplined training and mental resilience allow him to come back even stronger? At the heart of this controversy is the secretive nature of Sinner's doping sanction. The Italian accepted a 3-month suspension after acknowledging that the banned substance clostebol had entered his system involuntarily. However, it has now emerged that reaching this agreement was far from straightforward. According to sources close to the negotiations, convincing Sinner to accept the 3-month sanction was a complex process. Initially, the 22-year-old was determined to prove his complete innocence and fight the allegations to the very end. But after months of deliberations, discussions with anti-doping authorities, and weighing the potential consequences of prolonging the case, he ultimately agreed to the suspension. There have been very few instances in tennis history where a world number one, like Jannik Sinner, has faced a doping sanction, especially while also holding the title of the most recent Grand Slam champion. Such cases are rare, but what makes Sinner's situation even more unusual is the way he fought relentlessly for months to clear his name, only to ultimately accept a punishment that, from certain perspectives, appears to have been structured in a way that accommodates his needs. Now, for the first time, the details behind the agreement that resulted in Sinner's 3-month suspension are being revealed. The Italian star's case has sparked intense debate within the tennis world, with some arguing that his punishment was too lenient, while others believe he should never have been sanctioned at all. His initial defense was built on proving his inadvertent use of the banned substance, and many believed he had a strong case to avoid suspension altogether. However, after lengthy negotiations with anti-doping authorities, a settlement was reached, leading to speculation about whether external factors influenced the final outcome. As more information comes to light, the controversy surrounding Sinner's suspension raises questions about consistency in anti-doping rulings and the treatment of top-ranked players.